The Infinet, The Trivial Game, Book 1, written by John Akers, read by Tim Morgan. To Adonia. Prologue. The white-haired man sat quietly at his desk, facing an array of computer monitors mounted on the wall. Thousands of tiny green alphanumeric characters on black backgrounds bathed his face in a sickly luminescence that washed his otherwise blue eyes out to a watery gray. As he stared into the pallid glow, the man did something unusual. For the first time in many years, he smiled. It was not a smile of pleasure. On the contrary, he had just watched a quantum computer infiltrate his network, then barely escaped his counterattack attempt to infect it with a virus. But it had vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving no means of tracing it afterward. Neither was his smile an attempt to mask anger. He had trained himself years ago to eliminate the useless emotions of flash anger and fear. His smile was one of resolution. He had been about to launch his virus on the index case, the person from whom the end of all things would begin. For someone, or something, to have infiltrated his network at this moment was no coincidence. Somehow, the attacker had known of his intentions and had tried to interfere. It was the speed with which it had moved that had given it away. Although quantum technology was still in its infancy, and there were just a handful of functional Q-comps in the world, their speed and power were orders of magnitude greater than their binary-based predecessors. Their ability to hold multiple values in each register and to link the behavior of separate entities through entanglement made the previous generation of supercomputers look like slide rules in comparison. All the operational Q-comps in existence belonged to powerful nation-states, all except one. And he knew it was that outlier that had attacked him. He swept a crumpled-up fast food wrapper off the desktop, and it tumbled down the bell-shaped mound of trash surrounding his desk. He wiped his mouth with one hand, then wiped his hand on his pants. Pulling a tube of mentholatum out of a drawer, he squirted a blob of it onto his forefinger, then smushed it onto his upper lip. After putting the tube back and wiping his finger on his pants again, he rested his forearms on the edge of the desk, now rounded smooth by nearly 2 years of constant gentle abrading. Slowly, languidly, he extended his right forefinger above the Enter key. The keyboard, the monitors, and the computer workstation under the desk were all relics, all rendered obsolete by the advent of the Univiz a decade earlier. But they still worked.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?